Danny is, I think she might be more of a pig than Gary King. And that's a big thing to say, but I think it's worth, the thought experiment. I thought it was a really fun episode, 89 Pots.
When guys are sex addicts in their 20s or 30s, we call them pigs. Yeah. When females are horny,
hosses? We call them hosses?
No, we call them free spirits.
Welcome aboard another brand spanking new episode of another Below Deck podcast. My name is Dylan, and his name is Patty.
Permission to come aboard.
Granted, I loved it.
The episode.
No, the week off. It feels like we
had a week off?
It feels like we have.
We didn't have a week off.
Well, I loved it. And I loved this episode too. But before we get into it, guys, patreon.com/another podcast network. Salt Lake City is there. If you want to go back into the annals of Love is Blind, that's there. PMZ, just did a great PMZ.
Mm-hmm. Lots of fun.
APS. Oh, boy, do I have to update you on a bunch of stuff.
Oh, me too.
Feuding with neighbors.
Oh, yeah. They you have a, it's not a common area. You guys have your own shared.
Well, we pay for it.
You pay for your own common area, and your neighbors decided they were going to throw a party in your common area.
Not to mention they don't bring in their trash cans. I mean, these people are.
Isn't there some business about a cat, too?
Well, no, they have a dog named Rhino who I have violent impulses towards. Mm-hmm. And it's such a small animal, I could overpower it very quickly. It's a Yorkshire Terrier.
But only in a defensive posture.
Yes.
We're going to start up Real Housewives of Beverly Hills as well on the Bad TV feed. I believe most of you, we're looking at the numbers. We've seen a massive migration over to Bad TV from the Below Deck feed, so you're doing the right thing.
You're doing the Lord's work. This is what Jesus Christ wants you to do. Guys, we have to break down Below Deck episode 7, possibly. I actually really like this episode. There's a lot of stuff going on. Emma is Ray Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Emma
Ray Gun famously, I forget what version of this show was on. Lasted a total of 2 episodes. Smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah,
I didn't really know what she was saying at any given time. She was fired.
Emma reminds me of me when I was 23 years old, like just fresh out of college. Very averse to work environments. Loved smoking. Right?
Yeah.
Loved Marlboro 27s. Yeah. I was fried. I had all this work I wasn't doing, and it was making me extremely anxious, so I had to smoke. Mm-hmm. But so Emma's useless. Cloyce is useless. Danny is, I think she might be more of a pig than Gary King. And that's a big thing to say, but I think it's worth the thought experiment. I thought it was a really fun episode, 89 Pots.
When guys are sex addicts in their 20s or 30s, we call them pigs. Yeah. When females are horny,
hosses? We call them hosses?
No, we call them free spirits. I love Danny, by the way. Yeah. How many pots did you give it?
89, a lot of pots, actually.
Okay, I love this episode a lot because it was a true example of incompetence being thrusted upon Florida, not the wealthy, because we no longer have millionaires chartering these boats. We now have 8 people that can scrape together $20,000 to be served family style.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get to that dinner.
Cloyce, I've said this before in a past episode, so I'm repeating myself. I love the guy. I think he has a real shot at some longevity on this show.
Yeah.
That being said, he has that immaturity level that doesn't realize he's a complete imbecile.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to be young.
When do you lose that?
Me, it was, I didn't really shape up till I was in my late 20s, early 30s. They say that's when a male's brain is fully developed.
Yeah. It's like something happens to you where you get your teeth kicked in and you're like, oh my God, I've been wrong about everything.
Yeah, that's usually right around then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's in it. He could be good on this show. I think that a major impediment to him being good on the show is being fired next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And that could happen. I'm also looking forward to the teaser where somehow our beautiful Yacht is inches from smashing into the starboard bow of another boat.
I was talking to my darling Cecilia while we were watching. She was like, she saw the trailer for next week. She was like, how does that happen all the time? It's like, how do we have an emergent situation every season where there's a boat careening into the side of another boat?
Well, Cece, watch the show.
Yeah.
You'll know. Also, just a couple complaints here. No more days of our Sea Rat lives. I've asked producers to please edit this stuff out. I don't give a flying shit.
Yeah.
What's going on between Daisy and Gary's relationship. And I finally came full circle on this. I would not dislike Daisy this much this season had she not been teamed up with Gary. It's Gary is they're apples in a basket, and Gary's all the rotten ones, and therefore it makes her rotten as well.
Yeah, if you have a Fiji, right, and it's in a Fuji, sorry. I always get it confused with the nice bottled water. You know, Fiji's really got to up their game. If they put it in glass, I mean, they could charge people, $13 a bottle.
Well, my wife would buy a case of that a week.
Telling me.
She likes expensive, heavy things, and she also likes places that have long lines.
You're telling me. I had to get 2 crates of Mountain Valley spring water the other day. The liter bottles. Okay. I mean, what a catastrophe. I mean, you got to call Whole Foods in advance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nightmare. But anyways, let's say you got a Fuji apple, right? It's a clean, fresh one. And it's sitting in a bag. Pat's looking at me like, can we please get the first 30 seconds of the show? Let's say you got
I want to learn.
Let's see you got well, you're actually teaching me, Sensei, but you've got a Fuji apple, right? And it's all clean and you're ready to eat it. But it's sitting on top of a rotten Fuji beneath it, right? Just kind of leaned against it. And you pull it up, and it's got this kind of residue from the kind of rotted fucking, indented old dead zombie flesh of the other one. And you go, I don't want to eat this.
No.
That's what Daisy is.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's exactly right.
How many pots do you give it?
I give it 80 knots.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Would you like me to start the episode off, Dylan?
No, I would not like you to start the episode off because I want to do a little recap of last week. Remember,
I did it again. Yes, you did, Gary.
Emma was having a panic attack because everyone around her is good at everything. And she's a little bit like a bad robot. She doesn't do anything. She just smokes and overheats.
Yeah, she's one of those smoking robots.
Yeah.
Honey, why'd we buy this thing? It's supposed to be vacuuming.
Yeah.
We got the smoking model.
It just smokes, and it complains about everybody being passive-aggressive. So Deanna and Danny are feuding over the 3 bean stuff. There's building tensions between these two. And Danny moved on from 5-star General Searat Keith to Gary, who is a dirtbag. And that's right where we leave off. And Gary has his head in his hands going, oh my God, I can't believe
I did it again.
He says that what's particularly concerning about this one was that he sees her like a little sister.
Yeah.
Don't say that again, because you might bang her.
Also, Gary, did you see her like a little sister before or after you stuck your tongue in her face?
Yeah.
This is what I have to say about Gary. Gary just likes to know he can.
Yeah.
I think
he's a fucking sex addict.
This pig would fuck the family dog if he thought it would be a challenge.
Right.
And I hope it would be a pit bull and bite that thumb of the thing he calls a dick off.
Yeah, Rhino. I could fuck Rhino in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you could.
100%.
We chatted with some sea rats in the past, and allegedly Gary's junk down there looks like a baked Cheeto with less charm. Allegedly.
A baked Cheeto with less charm?
Yeah. They're beautiful. You ever have a bag of Cheetos, baked ones? Oh, they crunch in your mouth. His penis looks like that with less charm.
Are you talking about the puffs?
Oh, yeah, the puffs. Yeah.
Or are you talking about the baked?
The baked Cheetos. They're about an inch and a half.
But does it look like a Cheeto with the ridges and the cracks, or is it like a puff?
I think it's more puffy.
Okay.
Oh, I love him. Very charming.
Yeah.
In the end, Gary's Gary.
Sorry. Getting too preoccupied with that image.
So it's orange like his face.
We move on to Danny. And Danny, she has quagmire energy.
Mm-hmm.
they ask her if she would kiss Gary again, and she goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, I would." It's like, what a free spirit.
Can I love her. She's a free spirit. This is the problem, breaking down the fourth wall. She's been watching Gary on television for 4 years.
I think so.
And somehow he's a prize to her.
Yeah.
Well, are we at the next morning
In
yet?
the world of the blind, the one-eyed man
is king.
Gary. Yeah. So, yes, we do move on. We rise. Danny and Keith have a little chat. She implies that she stayed up with Gary. A little landmine planted in the soil there.
Yeah. So, well, she tells us she wasn't going to share those details with Keith. To that, I ask, why not? The kiss was more meaningless than a new Coldplay record.
Yeah.
I hate Coldplay.
I do not like Coldplay because I feel like I'm in a target whenever I hear them. And I'm not saying that I'm in a target when I hear them. I'm saying that when I hear them, I'm transported into a target. Oh. But it's amazing how, there are lots of things in life that remind you of how stupid we are as a society. Mm-hmm. Millions of people going to Coldplay concerts is one of them. But they have amazing shows, so maybe I'm just a cynical asshole.
Maybe they're fun live.
They're super fun live. So Keith and Emma chat, and this will be, we're going to get to the Keith and Emma chat at the end. Emma's ray gun. I mean, there's just nothing more to say. She, okay.
Does it make it even more odd that Keith's seeking advice from her?
Yeah, it does. Let me ask you something. And this is going to sound satirical, but I want you to actually answer this.
Fair enough.
What would be more helpful to the crew? Emma or a raccoon?
The raccoon keeps everybody awake and alert. I'm going to go with raccoon.
The raccoon is the answer.
Emma, we'll enjoy watching you, and you're a lovely person, and maybe we'll get an opportunity to talk to you in the future. But here, got to call balls and strikes here. I feel bad sometimes.
I don't. Okay. I don't. I call balls and strikes. You rub the butt of the batter, and then you call balls and strikes. It's a dereliction of duty on your part.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I separate church and state. You fuck. Daisy asks the girls to get the bar ready. I think Danny or Deanna outright refuses. This one's got a very strange attitude. I don't know what she thought she signed up for, but it wasn't work. So let's get to it. We have to get to the preference sheet meeting. So it's an 8-person charter, and
it's another one of those short charters, too.
Short charters. This is going to be dentists and realtors.
Well, I think only one realtor in there. The bulk of the people on this charter, I think, at least 5 to 3, is, in fact, people that work on people's rotting teeth.
Now, people who have listened to the show know my disdain for dentistry. I think that it's a lazy profession. I think that there have been no advancements in this space in some time, and a dentist could tell me, "Oh, we've done all the." Shut up! No, you haven't. Why are you gagging me when I come into your? That's a great point. Why is floss the only thing that can do this? Why are you guys not figuring something out that makes this less painful, less boring, less awful?
Dylan,
I hate dentists.
I am not a litigious person. But this dentist last year, to be fair, I was on a budget. I had a tooth pulled for $400. This guy ripped my gums apart. It didn't heal for 5 months. And now I have a scar on the side of my gums, bump. He literally, to get the tooth out, he started working from the side. It hurt like hell.
I know. These people are medieval torturers, but you have to, and also there's no insurance for them. So you have to pay them out of,
I pay cash.
Dude, it's a racket. These people are just sociopaths that have found a profession that allows them to inflict pain on people in an antiquated way for cash.
Now, I want to ask, I'm sure we have some listeners out there that are dentists.
Change your job.
This is old Patty's question. I've heard that about year 2 in actually practicing dentistry, you are overcome with depression.
Yeah.
That you're staring at people's rotting faces all day.
Yeah, you go, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
And also, Yeah, you went to school for 6 years or whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
now you're stuck with it, right? And people, they come in there. I'm always miserable. I never seen someone with a smile on their face walk into the dentist's office.
No.
Are you depressed?
There's more hope in an oncologist's office.
And that guy has to look at old man's assholes all day.
No.
Oh, that's not what an oncologist is?
No.
Oh, what kind of doctor is that?
I think it's a cancer.
Yeah, it's not an oncologist. Well, if you're one of those
proctologist, you're talking about a proctologist.
Proctologist listeners out there, do you sometimes think that you might want to jump off a building?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing about dentists, and we'll get back to the show in a second, but, they've been staring down the barrel of a career of looking at people's mouths for the rest of their life, and maybe they're passionate about it. I don't know how you could be. But because of that crippling existential hydraulic press that's coming down on them, they have this lobotomized kind of Stepford veneer of happiness, and it's creepy.
Yeah, I gotta know. Come on, hit us up in the comments.
I can't stand dentists. So you can't go wrong with a Caesar salad. They're going to want a Caesar salad. Cloyce will give them a play on it, the way that McDonald's does a play on a cheeseburger.
Yeah, that was quite the play.
Yeah. He's confident that this is going to be as smooth and sexy as he wants it to be. Now, Gary tells Emma to scrub the bottom of the boat. Emma outright refuses as well. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, these sea rats. I mean, it's just crazy. Listen, we can't just have people, we can't have a boat full of Keiths, It'd be boring, right?
That's true.
But I think that she might be right, because we cut to a scene of her just walking and she almost falls off the fucking boat. So I'm telling you, a raccoon would be better.
I think there's going to be some entertainment value to come. I've chatted with Emma. It's going to be fun.
Okay, so the dentists arrive. Dr. Contessa, do we have it's Dr. Contessa?
Yeah, so I caught that as well. That's Married to Medicine, and I believe that new season debuts this week on Bravo.
But she's not Dr.
That's not
Contessa.
the same person. No, different people.
But we already had Dr. Contessa on the show.
That's right.
You can understand why I was in a bit of a twilight zone.
I caught that as well. Now, Davidil lets us know he'd have sex with all of them.
Yeah.
And you know what? The gloves are off. Davidil, your name's Lothar. Creeps are named Lothar. They live in the bottom of a boat, and they don't get to have sex with MILF dentists. They watch Dr. Phil all day, eat raw meat. No more Lothar. Call him Lothar.
I like Lothar. I also like Daffodil, but I do think that every time we see Daffodil and or Lothar, he's amazing. Okay, he is amazing. Daffodil's my favorite person on the boat, far and away. Okay, because every time we see him, he's breeded kind of a new segment called Another Weird Moment with Daffodil. Like every time he comes on the screen, he just says something really weird. Mm-hmm. This time it was, unfortunately, my dentist is my sister's boyfriend. He's Hispanic, right? Unfortunately, my sister's boyfriend, and I would like to have a MILF working on my teeth. Now, I think that'd be fucking cool, too. That'd be cool as shit.
Well,
all I've had is old men that smile too much.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool to have a big fat sack of boobs in your face with like a hot MILF is working? Oh, that would be so cool. All right, so speaking of chill, at one point, and I'm not sure when this is, speaking of chill and fat sacks of tits, MC tells her husband that her friend with the boisterous boobs just got a boob job. Uh-huh. And he looks over and he's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Nice. He did. He gave one of those looks.
Yeah. All right, so Gary and the girls have a little chat.
Well, this is, I believe, when Danny and Emma decide to awk at Gary in the bridge.
What is awk it?
Stare at in a creepily way.
Oh,
they're
really?
into him. Both of them would probably double team him.
Yeah.
And they do it in front of Daisy, which annoys Daisy because A, they're not doing work, and B, Gary's and her really have a close relationship, and they might end up with each other someday. So, but we don't care about that because that's the days of our Sea Rat lives.
Ugh,
and
it's essentially
meaningless.
Yeah, most boring murder documentary of all time.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gary lets Daisy know that he and Danny had a little quote-unquote sneaky kiss. I mean, assuming because he thinks this will get her jealous, hence create a storyline that no one cares about. Yeah, fuck off, Cheetos, dick. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. I think Cheeto Dick has a better ring to it. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
Listen, Danny's fun. Danny's bringing the heat, and the season is salvaged by a lot of Danny's piggishness. But Danny is a pig.
Yeah, okay? When she's a free spirit.
She's talking to Gary. She's just like, fucking, if you'd been Keith, I'd been rooted, all right. It's like, Jesus Christ. And she's like, good day to get railed.
Hey, she's having a good time, man.
She's having a really
Come on,
good
that's
time.
what your 20s are for.
100%. So, Daisy, yes, this psychoanalytical moment. Psychobabble is always tough to hear because it's usually coming from somebody with no wisdom in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they read a book or listened to a podcast.
But coming from Daisy to Gary is particularly insulting to the ears. But he treasures her opinion, so that's why he tells her that she's crazy and to fuck off. Okay, so we tilt, things break. Cloyce is sick. He says that. He says that he's young, single, and that when he can't get his sleep, he is less than, right? Cloyce is like, I feel like every generation just does this, where we get older and we turn into Clint Eastwood, we're pointing our guns.
That's right.
At,
Get off my lawn.
We go, that generation's a bunch of fucking pussies. But seriously,
that's true. And their music sucks.
And their music sucks.
And Saturday Night Live
sucks. Saturday Night Live does suck.
It's horrible. If you notice, their cast, which is about 25 people, now rarely gets seen on any skits because they're just using famous, actual funny comedians from past seasons. Dana Carvey.
That new guy that had like the Ricky Ricardo guy, I cannot stand that guy. So unfunny. But there are some fun stuff. Let us know. Get in the comments. Let us know if you like Saturday Night Live. Okay, so he gets the news that dinner is going to be late, and he uses that to go sleep.
Question, Dylan.
Yeah.
Did we not have a lunch? I don't think we did. He was preparing, and I thought he was preparing the lunch, and then we never see the guests sit down and eat.
We probably got a lunch, but they probably just didn't show it.
Huh.
There's no
Cloyce, hit me up in our DMs and let me know if you made a lunch that day. The chefs really get pissed on this show when we interact with them.
Yeah.
They generally say they feel like they were.
Yeah, we've had some bad interactions with chefs. Mm-hmm. Chefs really are crazy. Yeah. Such a chip on their shoulder. It's like, dude, you're in a fucking dungeon cooking for people.
Oh, by the way, I don't feel like I'm giving any spoilers here because they released a trailer. Season 3 of Dan and just launched. Checked it out. Our friend of the show, Zarina, is the chef in the new season.
Oh, yeah. She's really the only one that we've ever liked.
Yeah. I like Chef Ruby. Truby.
Huh?
Who was the Scottish guy? He was really nice.
Oh, Jack. Yeah.
Jack, sorry.
Yeah, no, he was nice. Okay, so we get a carousel of uselessness from the Sea Rats. Cloyce is told to write something on a cake. He says, that's not chill. And Emma is continuing to just watch people work. Mm-hmm. Raccoons would do that.
Yeah,
they would be really cute, you know?
Now, Dill,
in the comments, let us know if you think raccoons are cute.
Let us know. Did we already go sailing?
Yeah.
All right, this was not an impressive sail. I think painter's tape would have kept the knife drawer dry because the lean was so minimal.
Sure. Dried spit, maybe.
Okay, and then you already cut to the cake thing, but did you catch where Daisy, I wasn't sure, this was an anniversary or an engagement, an anniversary/engagement. So Daisy goes to inform Cloyce of this important celebration, and she asked him, given that it was such an important occasion, what dessert would he create? And I believe he mentioned that Domino's Pizza sells that brownie cake, and he can just make something out of that.
He said, that's all he said.
Yeah,
that's all
I think he also said he saw a half-eaten cheesecake next to a homeless guy, and he might be able to salvage it.
Dust that up. Yeah. Hey, do you want to comment on the two dentists getting engaged at such a latter stage? What do you think happened with these two?
Well, probably this is definitely a second or third marriage.
Yeah.
Only one of them still has their house. Right. And look, it's never too late to find the person that you love forever. Thank you.
All right. Danny, has sexual tension with everybody on the boat, she says. And Deanna is jealous of that. Don't be. Don't be jealous of having sexual tension with Gary King and acting on it. That's nothing to be jealous about. So Cloyce wakes up, and he says that it made a big difference. Danny asks him what he's doing or Daisy asks him what he's doing for dessert, and he says that's a good question. Okay, so Deanna is pissed. She had to remove a stain and make blue salt, right? And that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, she's pretty unenthusiastic about her job. Someone needs to step in as a supervisor and speak with this young lady. She's got a bad attitude.
Where'd you go there?
Oh, I was just saying, she really has a poor attitude. Can I do some meanwhiles here?
Have you ever had to have, I need you to step up your game conversations with younger people?
At one point, I employed 20 people, never fired a single person. I'd always have the acting manager have those tough conversations. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't like confrontation.
I do not like confrontation.
Yeah. I'm not averse to it, but I've had a couple of those conversations before. One of them ended a guy punching a wall.
Yeah, I was with you. I heard the punches. That guy's a real fucking jackass.
So yeah, they can be very dangerous. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Okay, so Deanna is working on the salt, working on the stain, and Danny says, "I need you to come up and take a sunset picture with me." And Deanna, instead of saying, "I'm a little too busy, there will be a sunset tomorrow," probably, barring any kind of catastrophe, goes up there and really just throws a bit of a hissy fit. You know what I mean? She's really, really upset about everything. And she takes the picture.
But then, go ahead. I believe she expresses to Danny that her and I will have their moment to hash this out because she's not happy with her.
No, she's really not happy. All right, so let's get to the seafood extravaganza served out of troughs for the pigs celebrating their engagement.
Yeah.
This was as close to that warm day at Todai as you can get.
Yes. Famous story.
Now, the dentists head up for dinner, and they say that dentists are very type A people. I guess. Would you say dentists are type A people?
Runs the gamut. I think they're into other things. At some point, they're type A, but not about their actual job. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel like
they're really into the Porsche that they plan on buying.
Right. They got it on eBay. So they give them a toast, something blue, right? It's a
something blue something
margarita.
New, something borrowed.
And the beautiful thing about this margarita is that it looks like nuclear waste, right? And it is not filled all the way to the top. There's barely any ice in it, right? So just fill the glass. But they say that we got this for you, and then one of the drunk fucking
realtors. It's always the realtors.
They go, something blue. And I was thinking, that's very sweet, but there's a longer list. It's not just something blue. Is it something new, something borrowed,
That's
something
right.
blue? Mm-hmm. So I think we've got one thing checked.
They got one. Wow. Done completely by accident.
So the only okay. So we get to the first course.
Caesar.
Now, you know my thoughts on a Caesar, right? I'm very passionate about Caesar. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's the king of salads, and it's a perfect food, right? But Cloyce delivers what is essentially the roadkill version of a Caesar salad. Kind of hammed up only in name, which makes it even more like roadkill. There's a spectrum of roadkill, right? There's clipped roadkill that has kind of laid in waste and pain and died, but fairly preserved. Then there's roadkill that was completely obliterated. It looked like it got hit by a nuclear weapon, right? Mm-hmm. When you say that this is a play on Caesar salad and you serve a dead, wet pile of lettuce that smells like fucking shit, it's really insulting to the people that are paying for the vacation.
Here was the shocking part. The fact that Cloyce came out to present it, as the chef.
Yeah.
seemed a little premature, his entrance.
Yeah, I think he's smoking blunts. He's like, he goes upstairs and says, "This is a play on a Caesar salad," and that's about it.
Now, to be fair, Caesar salad was at the top of these people's request in that preference sheet.
Absolutely.
And of course, they're from Florida, and I'm surprised they didn't request breadsticks. Why not make this full circle?
Right.
Make it an evening at the Olive Garden.
Right. Chicken Alfredo.
Oh.
Little fried lasagna.
I've shared this story before, but real quick. My wife and I, 2 days before we were going to go in the hospital to have my wife give birth to Ellie, our first child, we ate at the Olive Garden as a goof. And I said, can you imagine if we got in a car accident and both died? And the newspaper would say, couple expecting new baby, die after meal at Olive Garden.
We'd be like, that's America. That's America.
And the sad parts about it.
Yeah.
In the end,
what'd you get?
Lasagna.
You love lasagna.
Oh yeah.
How was the lasagna?
You know, it's not bad there. There's a reason why there's a line out the door on Saturdays and Sundays.
I don't think it's bad. It's not like Italian food, quote unquote, but it's not bad.
I think the Olive Garden has found its little place in American cuisine.
Well, many companies have found that slot, right? So we have an infrastructure and a scaffolding in America to kill the citizenry as quickly as possible.
That's right.
Right? And they are one of the many outfits that does that.
Can you imagine RFK if he gets his hands on this and he comes out and I just have a report on Olive Garden. He says everything in here is designed to kill you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It just tastes so good, Bobby.
The thing, Bob, come on. This is Trump. Bob, I'm not going to do Trump. It's too sensitive right now for a lot of people.
Too sensitive, no politics.
But no, I mean, like, you know, you can't. This is the thing that, and people have a lot of criticisms around certain politicians because of this. You have to weigh the idea and the responsibility and the spirit of your choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, endless breadsticks. I mean, it's essentially like suicide, right? But the joy that it gives people.
I don't think suicide ever tasted that good.
No, right? So you can't just rip that away from people. And it's a profitable thing. You know, Red Lobster tried to do endless shrimp. Shrimp's expensive.
Yes.
Cancerous foam core breadsticks, not expensive. So good for Olive Garden. Let's get to the Red Lobster portion of the evening.
Are we referring to family style?
Yes. Okay. Family style seafood extravaganza, which is green beans. As a rule for fine dining, I would say, and it's no fault of the green bean. You know, I think the green beans are slept on. But green beans have been tarnished by a decades-long kind of stigmatic culinary scarlet letter, right? They're usually associated with casseroles and limpness and flavorlessness. So if we're going to do a seafood extravaganza, maybe let's not serve soaking wet soppy almond green beans with people or to people, right? Okay, so we get lobster tails, prawns, and scallops. The scallops are pale and unseared. They look disgusting. The lobster is almost rotted in a way that it looks dead again.
It died twice.
If you killed the lobster and it lost its faculties and was laying there limp, it's almost like when you cook lobster, it tenses back up and it plumps, right? Mm-hmm. This looks as though it regained life and then was a little bit like Anne Heche. I didn't even see the prawns, but they were probably disgusting too. This is the plating on this dish, on this dinner, is abysmal. Again, I think he is smoking promethazine blunts somewhere on this boat. He's completely out of it, and we haven't even gotten to dessert.
Okay, can we just one side note on family style for expensive dinners? They paid a lot of money, I guess.
Yeah.
Family style, it's in the name. You serve it with your family. Not coworkers, not people that are at the same party as you. I hate family style because it's always so uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, there's one more egg roll over there. Should I take that egg roll? I don't want to be rude and them think I'm eating all this food. My birthday party this summer, which had 20 people, was not supposed to be family style. It drove me nuts that it ended up being family style.
Yeah.
It took away from the experience because people were like, oh, is that our platter of that?
Right.
I just fucking hate it.
Family style, if you're going to do it, has to be either in a rustic setting, right? Like you have to be in a, somebody's farm in Italy.
I like that.
Or it can be, there are certain contexts wherein it makes sense. If you're at like a nice Chinese restaurant and there's a Lazy Susan, right? That's family style, but you're fine with that. Dave Chang made his bones with family style, but what he does with family style is he makes it very ornate. If you're going to go family style, it's going to be the most expensive thing on the menu, and it's going to be this very, pompous thing where it's a $300 duck, right? And there's all this stuff, but you can't just serve dead lobster, twice dead lobster.
That's
on a
right.
Plate.
And also, it shows a lack of care or pride in your work, because when you think about a chef or like high-end cuisines, the portions are also a part of it. The chef is saying, I think that this should be the right portion for this particular bite.
Right.
Ugh, this kid's an idiot.
So Cecilia is drunk.
Yes. Yeah. Is she the one that hates family style?
Yeah.
By the way, if you don't think that production cattle prodded Captain Glenn out there to ask them how their dinner is, I got one for you.
Yeah.
They 100% did that.
Yeah. Glendale.
How's dinner?
Yeah, Glenn doesn't care.
I think he doesn't like confrontation either.
No.
And he knows this was terrible.
He's very chill. He's very Canadian. Now, Cloyce knocks dinner or dessert right out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
He makes a kind of like Spider-Man and Venom trifle. Just blue and disgusting. And he writes congrats on a plate in shit brown frosting. Can you imagine waiting up all night for this? And my favorite thing is that the husband, who has been shackled to this table when his wife wants to go to bed, says, here comes something. He sees what they are bringing up, and he sees the blue raspberry looking foam in wine glasses, and he goes, this is going to be something. And what it was somebody who's baked out of their mind delivering a plate of unfit dessert 30 minutes late to people who are paying $20,000 for the trip. Zero pots.
Zero.
Now, Daisy and Gary make up before they go to bed.
Cares.
Daisy says it's time you grow up. And if I was a betting man, I would say that he won't.
Oh, I did it again.
Oh, no. I did it again. Now, Daisy gives some feedback to Cloyce. The guests were very pissed, and you should do better. And Cloyce does not receive feedback. Now, my problem with Daisy in the beginning was that she didn't have enough ammunition to be hard on Cloyce in the beginning. She set him up for failure at night one and then was pissed about him. So I thought that was a little unfair. Now we've had multiple instances of Cloyce just completely fucking off.
That's right.
So go for it. Now, Cece and we're not at bedtime yet. Sorry.
Oh, we're not? Okay.
Cece and Dr. Contessa have a bet of burying the hatchet. You know, Cece's very drunk, and she's bringing up things that I think happened in high school.
Possibly.
You know
Maybe dentist school.
I think it has to do with sleeping with a boyfriend or something like that.
Yes.
People
hold on to those things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a rotten thing to do. Now, Emma complains that the guys are a little pissed off at her, and it's understandably so because she just smokes and overheats. But we get to her crushing the night shift. She gets to work quickly by listening to a dating podcast and sleeping. Emma Nil Parsifal 5. She says that she can help with the swim platforms the next morning and just stands there. Now, Keith says after being just watched, again, this is where a raccoon would be like, there's a little bit more like
Well, you can tell a raccoon to get out of here. Get out of here.
Or he could just sit there and you could be like, hey, buddy, how you doing? You know, he's kind of a mascot. You know what I mean? He sees her doing absolutely nothing. And after she has offered her help and then rescinded it very quickly, he says, you know, you can just go to bed if you want. And she goes, well, yeah, I'm pretty fucking tired. The warped, the warped reality of the guys attacking her is sight to behold. It's really crazy.
I'm wondering if it was her responsible for that, whole yacht floating into another one in the middle of the night.
I think it might be, but we'll have to see. Now let's get to the next day.
Next morning,
Danny and Gary.
Well, they end things.
Yeah, he lets her down.
Whatever she thought it was.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Danny, there's always tomorrow. There'll be alcohol. His ego will be more fragile than a spider web with a school of the blind on a field trip, and he'll try and have sex with you again.
Yeah, and you can taste all those cigarettes in his mouth. That's cool. Now, when he lets her down, she has an OTF, right? And production's asking her about this, and she looks like she's going to cry. It's crazy. Now, we have dueling narratives with Daisy and Gary. Emma continues with this passive-aggressive attack complaint, and the real story, the reality of the situation is told by Keith, who is a prude but also a sweetheart. He's just confused. He's like, I'm just trying to help her, and she keeps smoking and saying I'm bullying her. It's really crazy. And Gary's like, I'll have a chat to her and have sex with her. So let's get to breakfast. Budget hotel, large format VAT eggs, and Activia in bowls of ice.
It's what I ate last time I stayed at a Motel 6, and it was one of those more upscale Motel 6s.
Now, Daisy sees this, and she goes to Captain Glenn, and necessarily so, drops a dime.
She does. I have no problem with her doing this.
Me neither.
Yep.
So she says, I think I can handle this. And Glenn says, are you sure? Gives her an old Regis Philbin, are you sure? Turns out she cannot, because this conversation does not go well. But before we get there, Deanna and Keith have a chat, and she drops a dime of her own. She tells Keith that Danny and Gary hooked up. Do you think that this was vengeance?
I don't know what this was, but it was kind of out of left field for Deanna. I thought she was just that crazy Ukrainian chick just walking around being mad at the world.
Yeah, and I think
start shit on the boat.
Yeah, people have corrected us and said that she's actually Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
She's I couldn't.
She's whatever the hell I want to say.
I couldn't care less. She is a Ukrainian spy who is not good with working. That kind of ends the evening. Daisy and Cloyce do not have a productive conversation, and we'll see. How many episodes do you give Cloyce?
I think he probably gets one more charter, and if he behaves in the same way in the previous 3, he's out of here.
All right. Get in the comments. Let us know about the things that we asked you to let us know about. Rest in peace, Anne Heche. Rest in peace, Cloyce, possibly. And we'll see if the boats run into one another. Probably not next week.
Oh, do you think they're just teasing that to get us to keep watching?
Yeah, that'll be the teaser of this episode will be the teaser for next week, which means that the boats will possibly run into each other while the credits are rolling next week. So looking forward to that. Patreon.com/Another Podcast Network for Salt Lake City. PMZ.
Oh, and APS. Then Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on the Bad TV feed.
And just, more than all the content, like if you like the show, if you have $5, we'd really appreciate it.
Help us out.
We'd really appreciate the support. There are very easy ways to get $5. You can rob people. You can
go into a grocery store and steal all the shaving stuff. You can sell that on Amazon.
Yeah.
You can get Patreon and also wet your beak a little bit, put a little money away for yourself.
Sure, yeah.
Christmas coming up.
We've overturned Prop 40 whatever in California, but until that takes effect,
in January, steal all you can.
Yeah, you can steal up to $1,000 worth of stuff, and that's like, I'm not good with math, but that's like 250 times more than $5.
That's right.
So, we're just throwing that out there. Love you guys very much. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes!